platform is out ahead right now? Which one has the best odds for you to succeed as a gaming live streamer? What we're going to be looking at today is the most fresh data on all three of these platforms in terms of how large is the viewership, how many channels are you competing against, and then you can look at the ratio of how many viewers there are versus how many channels there are, so you can start to make the best decisions possible on where you have the best opportunity to grow. There are now over 10 million live streamers out there on Twitch alone, and Facebook gaming just busted through the 1 billion hours watched mark. It was half that about a year ago. The streaming industry is exploding with growth right now, and it's time for you to get on board if you want to do this thing full time. You ready? Let's go. This video is sponsored by Restream. Why live stream to one platform when you can simultaneously live stream to every platform to discover new audiences faster using Restream.io? All right, here is the Streamlabs quarterly report. It is my favorite report that comes out every single year or every single quarter. And what it's going to do is tell us all about which platforms are growing, which ones are dying. And this one's particularly interesting because Mixer shut down. And so where did all of those 4 million streamers go? We're gonna see all of those insights right now in the report. So first things first, this is a huge thing you should be paying attention to. It's total hours watched on all of these different platforms. As you can see, Twitch is still the king of total hours watched. 63% of the eyeballs out there are on Twitch right now. Facebook is at 14% and YouTube gaming is at 22%. Now, in comparison to last quarter with these numbers, this portion of the pie that Facebook has and YouTube has increased significantly. And if this trend continues with hours watched, the viewership on all of these platforms, Facebook and YouTube combined are going to take more than half of the pie moving forward with total viewership across all streaming platforms. That's something to take note of. And that's a big reason why being on all of these platforms at the same time makes a lot of sense, and why being on Facebook and YouTube makes a lot of sense, because YouTube in particular and Facebook are actually growing in terms of their market share quarter over quarter, whereas Twitch's market share is actually shrinking in comparison to those two platforms. But don't make any conclusion on which one's best yet just because Twitch has a bigger piece of the pie because it's purple. Because look at the hours streamed by comparison. As you can see, Twitch is taking up 91% of the pie here with hours streamed, which is preposterous, even though only 63% of the hours watched are happening. So what that means is there's a lot more effort, if you will, being put into streams on Twitch, but the viewership isn't coming out of the other side. You see how that works out? 91% of the hours streamed, the effort from streamers is being put into Twitch, but only 63% of the viewership is happening on Twitch, which means there's a disparity between people streaming on Twitch and actually getting results. We're going to dive deeper into those numbers here in a moment. It goes without saying that Twitch, people struggle to grow on Twitch. I'm sure you guys have experienced the same thing. Let me know in chat. But in terms of hours streamed, it's absolutely crazy how only 3% of the hours streamed out there is on Facebook right now. Only 5% is on YouTube and 91% is on Twitch. So what that means is that there's a lot less competition just in terms of the amount of content you have to punch through if you want to break out as a streamer on Facebook and on YouTube. Whereas on Twitch, you're having to punch through an insane amount of content just to be noticed on that platform. Not to mention Twitch doesn't even have a growth algorithm, a search and discovery algorithm that can help you break through. Look, there's even more to the story. It's totally insane. When you look at these next numbers, look at this. This is the total number of unique channels on all of these platforms. It's totally preposterous. So if you look at the numbers over here on the side, Twitch has 10 million channels on it right now. It was below 10 million last quarter. It now crested over to 10.5 million. So you're wondering, where did all those Mixer streamers go? They went to Twitch primarily, but a lot of them actually went to YouTube. YouTube, 900,000 streamers there now, and Facebook only has 267,000 streamers. So Mixer had 4 million streamers on it when Mixer died. RIP Mixer. I'm sorry all you Mixer refugees out there that lost your home, but did all those streamers flood over to Facebook gaming? No. Here's the proof. People think that Facebook gaming bought Mixer. They did not buy Mixer, because look at how much of the pie Facebook gaming has right now in terms of streamers. They only picked up just a few streamers. We're going to look at it here soon. And YouTube only picked up a few streamers, and Twitch still has 90% of the streamers right now. But remember, we're comparing, it's all about supply and demand. Twitch only has 63% of the viewership. So if Twitch has 90% of the talent, but only 63% of the viewership, that means that the talent that's on Twitch is not getting that much results. Really quick, let's talk about this concept, the concept of supply and demand. All right. So I talk about this all the time, and I want to grind it into your head before we go look at the Twitch numbers behind me. You want to be where there is a low supply of content. You want to be where there is a low supply of channels. You want to be streaming games, and you want to be covering games where there's a lot less competition, while at the same time there is high viewership, there's high search demand, there is high demand on each of these platforms, and hopefully an algorithm to help you be discovered. So today we're going to be focusing a lot on supply and demand on all of these platforms when we're contrasting Twitch versus Facebook gaming and versus YouTube gaming. That's going to help you get the best insights on which one's going to be the best fit for you. There's a lot more that you can kind of dive deeper into on all of these topics. And if you're interested in that, by the way, I offer a coaching service. If you're interested to one-on-one coaching with creators, I'll drop the link in chat right now. If you want to have a one-on-one coaching session with me, you can do that. I'll drop it in chat. It's awalldigital.com. You can just schedule one-on-one coaching by clicking the button here or using my scheduler tool. I've just opened it wide open. You can select your day, you can select your time, and you just literally enter your name, email, and the challenges you're having as a streamer and what you want to accomplish, and you pay, and I'm booked, and I'm on a one-on-one video call with you if that's interesting to you. All right, cool. So if we look at Twitch total hours watched over time, it has trended in such an interesting way. I'm going to move my camera out of the way. I did not realize it was going to be in the way for this report. Let's move me over here. Perfect. And then we are going to transform me, and we're going to flip me like this, and then boom, I'm not going to be in the way for all these numbers. Perfect. So Twitch total hours watched, look how it crested as soon as coronavirus happened right here. Q3 2018, Twitch was at 2.4 million hours watched, and it stayed about the same basically for over a year. Then coronavirus happened. It jumped from 2.6 million up to 2.6 billion up to 5.1 billion, and then dropped down to 4.7 here in the most recent quarter. So this is concerning to me. People were wondering, is Twitch going to grow indefinitely? Is coronavirus going to keep Twitch going on a non-stop growth curve? COVID started here into infinity, and it looks like it's not going to go into infinity. It actually declined. And so now we know where Twitch sits in terms of the numbers. It's going to sit between 4 to 5 billion, but there's a new kind of plateau for Twitch, if you will, until the next big thing in streaming happens, until the next big thing in the industry happens. And so before, the plateau was between 2 to 3 billion. Now it's between 4 to 5 billion. So what we can see here is in terms of the hours watched on Twitch, in terms of the viewership on Twitch, there's a new plateau that is nearly double what it used to be. So Twitch's viewership appears to have permanently increased. We'll see if it stays here, but it appears to have permanently increased by double. Isn't that preposterous? Isn't that absolutely amazing? Let me know what you guys think in chat. But as you can see here, hours streamed has not slowed down at all. And look, this is once again supply and demand. You notice how before on Twitch, the hours watched went down from Q2 to Q3, but look, the hours streamed actually went up. So what does that tell us? Here's hours streamed. What that tells us is the viewership went down on the platform, but the amount of competition is still going up on Twitch. That is bad for you as a streamer. That is very bad for you as a streamer. You do not want competition to go up and viewership to go down. You want it to be the opposite way. You want competition to go down and viewership to go up. So Twitch is trending in the wrong direction in terms of you actually being able to grow on Twitch, by the way. Don't take my word for it. The numbers are right in front of your face. So other than that, the unique channels on Twitch has been incredibly interesting to follow as COVID has really broke out and changed the landscape in streaming. about a year ago, I'm sorry, in 2018, Twitch was at 5.8 million channels, which was absolutely incredible. Then there was this major jump over to Mixer once you saw people seeing greener pastures on Mixer when Twitch jumped up to 6.9 million channels on their platform. And then it dunked down to 4.3 million during the height of Shroud and Ninja and everybody jumping over to Mixer. So Twitch lost over 2.5 million channels during this whole Mixer debacle. They followed Ninja, they followed Shroud. It was crazy. One moment. Sorry about that. And then once the coronavirus happened, Twitch then jumped back up to its previous highs of 6.1 million channels and then skyrocketed up to 10 million. And it keeps increasing, by the way. It's now up to 10.5 million channels today. It's more than double the competition on Twitch today than it was about a year ago, which is absolutely preposterous. So Twitch's numbers are not looking promising, but here are the most important ones to take note of. This is my favorite chart. Sorry, I got a tickle in my throat. This is my favorite chart. This is the total size of the pie of all of viewership on Twitch at any given time. And in 2018, there was about 1.1 million concurrent viewers on Twitch at any given point. Now, before the coronavirus, it was about the same. So Twitch wasn't really growing at all for basically an entire year and a half, which is preposterous. Then, once coronavirus hit, Twitch grew to 1.4 million viewers at any given point on average, then up to 2.3 million. So it nearly doubled its viewership because of coronavirus at any point, which is fantastic for streamers. However, as we move into Q3, as you can see, the trend is now down. Twitch is no longer growing as people go back to school, as people get back to work, as life begins to return to normal a little bit in terms of coronavirus. Twitch is on the way back down. So we'll see where it ends up settling. I am going to speculate that it's going to hang around the 2 million-ish mark around here for Q4 of this year, and that's going to kind of be the new normal. So it used to hover around 1.2 million average viewers at any time on Twitch, and now because of the coronavirus, it's going to hang around 2 million or so. So it gained about 1 million concurrent viewers at any point on average on the platform overall. So Twitch has grown quite a bit. However, for streamers, the ratio is bad. So let's do some math really quick here, guys. Here is the math that you guys really need to keep in mind. So what you need to look at is the total number of channels versus the total number of viewers possible. And the total number of channels, as we see right behind me on Twitch, is 10 million. Okay, the total amount of views at any given point on Twitch is about 2 million in terms of viewers. So that means that there is 1/5 of a viewer for every streamer on the platform. So every streamer gets 1/5 of one viewer. That is not a good ratio. So that means that there are millions and millions and millions of streams on Twitch that are getting 0 viewers. And each streamer, 5 streamers basically has to fight for 1 viewer on the platform. That is a bad ratio. So overall, these numbers are not good for streamers. They're good for Twitch, but they're not good for streamers. Supply in terms of streams on Twitch is sky high. It's never been higher. But demand in terms of viewership did not rise at the same rate, which means that your chances of growing on Twitch today are worse than ever by the numbers. But how does this compare to YouTube gaming? How does this compare to Facebook gaming? Let's take a look. All right, so that was Twitch in a nutshell, but let's take a look at YouTube. Now, this is a chart that's looking sexy. This is YouTube Gaming's hours watched over time. And in 2018, they were at about 500 million hours watched, but today it's at 1.6 billion. So as you can see, YouTube Gaming's viewership has been on a more or less 45-degree angle growth curve over time. There was a bit of a dip here in 2019, which makes YouTube a little bit more variable. And as you can see, when the coronavirus hit, Facebook gaming ended up taking off from about 1 billion to 1.5 billion to 1.6 billion. So since the coronavirus hit, YouTube gaming has increased by about 70% in terms of the amount of hours watched, which is absolutely insane. That is great growth. This is a chart that looks a lot healthier than Twitch's chart in terms of growth. All right, so let's take a look at the rest of the numbers here for YouTube Gaming, the number of hours streamed. So as you can see, this chart is totally crazy. It's up, it's down, it's all over the place. What does this mean? This means that streamers haven't really trusted YouTube over time. About in 2018, there were 14 million hours streamed. Then it jumped up to about 16 million toward the middle of 2019. Then it plummeted once Shroud and once Ninja went over to Mixer, and a ton of YouTube streamers went over to Mixer, as you can see. Interest in YouTube streaming died. However, as we moved into the coronavirus, interest went back up to highs from the previous times. But now look into Q3, YouTube's streaming hours went down. So the supply of streaming hours from streamers just keeps going up and up and up and up and down and up and down and up and down. It's a really volatile environment for streamers. As you can see, there's freaking arrows all over the place on this chart. So streamers don't have a lot of trust for YouTube, and that trust moves in and out as YouTube shifts the algorithm. Sometimes they turn the algorithm on, sometimes they turn the algorithm off for streams, and it makes things really variable for YouTube exclusive streamers, which is a big reason why you guys should fully consider restreaming to all of these platforms at the same time. Okay, Restream sponsors this stream, and if you guys want 30% off Restream, I'll drop the link in chat right now. Check it out. 30% off. You should be streaming to all three of these platforms to maximize your growth across YouTube Gaming, Facebook Gaming, and Twitch, okay? Let's take a look at the rest of YouTube Gaming's numbers. Look at the number of unique channels. So at the end of 2018, there were 1.9 million channels on YouTube Gaming. I know my camera's blocking it, sorry. I'll just tell you, 1.9 million. Then it jumped to about 2 million. But then look at the ultra dive that the numbers took on YouTube Gaming. Over 1.3 million streamers left YouTube Gaming when they saw Ninja, they saw Shroud, and they saw the whole gang move over to Mixer. And they dropped below 1 million streamers on YouTube, down to 800,000. But then once coronavirus hit, the number jumped up to about 1 million again and went down to 900,000. So what does that mean? That means that the amount of competition on YouTube today is half the competition it used to be about 1.5 years ago. But if you look at the amount of viewership, if we scroll up here, the amount of viewership on the platform is 3 times what it was 1.5 years ago. So let's just quickly recap that, just to make sure everybody's on the same page. Competition on YouTube decreased half. 50% of the competition that you guys had to punch through to break through on YouTube is gone from 1.5 years ago. But viewership on YouTube has tripled during that same period of time. Supply and demand. Supply went down by half, demand went up by 300%. That is very, very good for YouTube streamers. Okay? So if you're going to be streaming on YouTube, the numbers are in your favor right now. Okay? Supply and demand. Cool. I want you guys to understand these concepts, because you shouldn't just be watching my videos to understand the numbers. You should be looking at them yourself. You should be doing your own analysis. You should be really analytically looking at how you approach being a full-time live streamer and a full-time YouTuber and somebody who wants to be full-time in the gaming industry. You have to think like this. I've been doing it for the last 10 years. And because I think like this, I've been able to help a lot of people succeed through coaching and education and what have you. But you need to learn how to do these sort of calculations yourself if you really want to break out and be a success in the long term, not just today, but for your entire career. You have decades of career as a gaming creator in front of you. You have to think about it like that. So understanding these strategic concepts is critical if you really want to make this your living, a full-time living, right? Okay, let's get back into the numbers, because here's the really interesting bit with YouTube Gaming. All right. So what I like to look at with all of these platforms is the total CCV. So that's the average concurrent viewers on the platform at any given time. This is the total size of the pie that's available for you guys at any given time, so that you guys can maybe get some concurrent viewers. That's what you're trying to get, right? Check this out. So YouTube, about 1.5 years ago, was only getting 270,000 concurrent viewers on their platform. This is when I helped launch YouTube gaming in partnership with Google. It stayed at about 300,000 for about a year, but then once coronavirus hit, it climbed up to 600,000 and now cresting over 750,000. Big Nate, thank you so much for the super hearts on Periscope. I didn't know that was a thing. Thanks for the super hearts, buddy. So viewership increased significantly during that period of time. So as you can see, there is currently hockey stick growth in terms of the average concurrent viewers on YouTube at any given time. So this is good for streamers. You want demand to go up. But here is the ultimate comparison that you need to make. Even though demand is going up, 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 how many people do you have to compete with? Let's quickly do the numbers. Right now on YouTube, there are about 1 million streamers active each and every quarter, okay? As you can see behind me on this side, at any given moment, there are about 758,000, not about, there are precisely 758,000 viewers on average watching live streams, gaming live streams on the platform at any moment. So your ratio of channel streaming to viewers on the platform is closer to 1-to-1. It's closer to 1-to-1, but it's less than 1. So there's less than 1 viewer per streamer on YouTube. So are those odds good? They're okay, but they're certainly way better than Twitch. Remember when we talked about Twitch a moment ago? Twitch's numbers, there was 1/5 of a viewer per channel on there. So 5 channels on Twitch had to compete for 1 viewer. On YouTube, it's close to, but not quite there, where only 1 channel has to compete for 1 viewer. So it's almost a 1-to-1 channel to viewer ratio on YouTube. So roughly speaking, just looking at the numbers, your odds of growing on YouTube versus Twitch, just by the numbers, supply and demand, is 5 times better on YouTube than it is on Twitch. That's on top of there actually being the YouTube algorithm, which is the best suggestion algorithm on planet Earth to suggest your videos and your content, whereas Twitch has no suggestion algorithm. Okay, that's just by the numbers. But wait, there's a third platform. Before we can conclude which platform is best, we gotta look at Facebook gaming, right? Come on, let's look at the numbers. All right, so that was YouTube. Let's look at Facebook gaming. Total hours watched on Facebook gaming. Holy crap. Is this hockey stick, super ultra mega hockey stick growth? Facebook is taking the heck off. Q1 2019, there were 164 million hours watched. Now there's over 1 billion hours watched. That is totally insane. This is about a, what, 700% or so increase in viewership, 600% increase in viewership from a year and a half ago to today. Facebook gaming's viewership numbers are on hockey stick growth. It is just, you look at it right in front of you. And if you look at how much it's grown over the last year, that is really insightful too. It was at 500 million, now it's at 1 billion. So in just 1 year, it has doubled its numbers from 500 million to 1 billion hours watched. Facebook gaming's viewership numbers are just wonderful. Let's take a look at the rest though. So hockey stick growth, that's what you want. Hours streamed is here too. So as you can see, when Facebook started, their hours streamed actually went down a little bit, but then it's been on hockey stick growth since then. So we noticed how the viewership went up nonstop, but is the amount of activity from streamers going up nonstop? Yes, it is. So people have discovered Facebook gaming. I'm responsible for that in part. So is my podcast, the Digital Drop Podcast. And so people are streaming at about the same rate increase as the viewership is going up, which is fine. That's what you want. What you don't want to see is the amount of competition going up faster than the rate that the viewership is going up, which is exactly what we've seen on Twitch, where there's been more competition piling in during COVID-19 than there has been viewership, and Twitch has become insanely competitive as a result. Facebook, it's been growing at about the same rate in terms of supply and demand. But how many channels do you actually have to compete against, and how has that been trending on Facebook? geez, look at this. It's hockey stick growth in terms of the channels as well. About a year and a half ago, Facebook only had 27,000 channels on it. That's when I started recommending Facebook gaming to you guys in my videos and on my podcasts. And that's when I started streaming there too. Today, there are 267,000 channels on Facebook gaming. So competition has increased 10x. Competition on Facebook has increased 1,000% since a year and a half ago. Now remember, viewership went up by a significant margin as well. So let's compare these ratios. Okay, competition has increased by 1,000%, but viewership has increased by about 600%. So as you can see, viewership is increasing more slowly than competition, which means that the opportunity for growth on Facebook gaming is starting to dry up. Okay? It's still a good opportunity, but it's not as good as it used to be. And that's why you have to get in early on these trends. You have to get in early on these platforms. Otherwise, you're going to miss the boat in terms of being able to grow. And if we look at the average viewership on Facebook, it was only 76,000 back in 2019. Coronavirus hit, and it ended up jumping up to a peak of 379,000, which is gigantic growth. That's 500% growth. But as you can see here in Q3, viewership actually went down a little bit on Facebook. So what does this tell us? This is exactly what I just told you a moment ago. Supply and demand. The supply of streamers on Facebook has been increasing significantly, but the demand for streams hasn't been growing as fast. And so as you can see, viewership is kind of plateauing on Facebook gaming in terms of concurrent viewership, but the amount of streamers there has not slowed down at all. So that means that the amount of free viewership and magical organic viewership that you're going to get on Facebook today is less than it was even just 6 months ago or even just 3 months ago. Okay, so here is your magical conclusion on all of these numbers. All right, Facebook gaming, let's look at it behind us. How many viewers are right there, guys? 369,000 viewers at any given time. How many streamers are on Facebook right now? 276,000. So what does that mean? That means that each streamer on Facebook has more than one viewer available for them to go get at any point. Okay? More than one viewer. So let's review. Twitch, each channel is fighting for 1/5 of a viewer. YouTube, each channel is fighting for less than one viewer. In Facebook gaming, there is more than one viewer per streamer. So if you look at where the best growth opportunity is today, it is still on Facebook gaming. The odds of growing on Facebook gaming are better than YouTube, slightly. And they are more than 5 times better, about 6 times better than Twitch, just strictly by the numbers. So you should be streaming on all of these platforms in order to grow. You don't need to go exclusive on any of them. You don't need to sign any deals unless one of these platforms is offering you cash money in order to stream on their platform. Guys, that's it. Those are the numbers right there. Those are the facts. You just saw the numbers yourself, and so you need to make your best decision. And if you're a little bit confused about whether you should do YouTube videos versus streaming on Facebook, or you should restream everywhere, and should you also do VODs, and what kind of videos should you make on YouTube to promote your live streams? Should you do a social media strategy to go along with that? How are you going to end up making affiliate revenue versus Patreon? How are you going to reach that goal of $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 per month and go full time doing this? I'm here for you. I'm here to help you out. Once again, you guys can book me right now. I open the floodgates and the appointments are disappearing super fast. You guys can book me for one-on-one coaching if you want me to help you with your YouTube channel. I help multi-million subscriber channels all the time. I built channels from scratch from 0 to millions of subscribers. I help top creators to small creators that are just starting. Go to my website, awalldigital.com. Just schedule one-on-one coaching. There's a little booking tool down here. You enter your name, your email, you pick your date and your time, you book me, and boom, I'm helping you one-on-one and I'm helping you succeed. All right? Thank you so much for watching. I hope that was insightful for you. and clips of this will be cut up by my editor Squad Track on my Awall Digital Clips channel if you want to just see the highlights from my live streams, if you don't want to slog through all of them in the future. All right, thank you so much for watching, and be sure to stream on all of these platforms if you can using Restream, link in the description below, because you will maximize your growth. Don't get tricked into thinking that going exclusive is going to somehow help you. It just literally is not. It's a numbers game. The more people you can reach and the more growth opportunities you can go after, the better. All right, so start broadcasting, start growing, and unlock your creative potential.